Hey guys, we're live on our 4th episode of Keeping It Real Masterminds. Anyhow, today I'm really excited to have Bill Jenkins. He's a Las Vegas real estate agent and also a real estate coach. And he's going to go over how to hire and train a virtual assistant to set 40-plus appointments a month. Bill Jenkins is a great guy. I know him personally. I've known him since about 2011. He actually personally helped me buy 7 investment properties in Las Vegas, him and his wife. He works with his wife and an admin, and now this virtual assistant helping him set appointments. And they give great service. His wife, Fran, was fantastic to work with. And being a real estate agent, I had some pretty high standards. And they helped me get some, I'm just giving you some history and background about him because just so you know where he's coming from and how he operates his business. I basically gave them some criteria as an investor. Hey, I needed 12% return, yada, yada. And his wife went and did all that, found out what needed to be fixed up to get these rentable, what the current rents would be, and all that. And they basically delivered 7 properties to me with a 12% return on my money after all expenses. So he runs his team. He's been in the business since 2004. Last year, him and his wife and his team did 65 transactions. This year, they're on track to do 80 transactions. Plus, he's coaching other agents. So not only are they on track to do 80 transactions, but he's actually helping and coaching other agents how to do more business, okay? And he's been a real estate coach. I'm looking at my notes. He's been a real estate coach since 2009. He's done over 7,000 coaching calls. So this guy gets it. And he used to be a Mike Ferry one-on-one and two-on-one coach, and he's currently working on Tom Ferry's team as, I think, a one-on-one coach, right, Bill?
That's correct.
Yeah, so he's a one-on-one coach for Tom Ferry's team over there, plus running his own team. And then I got my co-host, Frank, on here with me. Frank, say hello.
Hello. How's everyone doing? I'm Frank.
Frank, he's the CEO of Viral Marketing. He's the one that helps me get these off and get this going. If it wasn't for Frank, these things wouldn't be going because I just do not have the bandwidth. And so anyway, I just want to give you guys a little heads up. I've been fighting the flu the last 2 days, so if I seem a little out of place, my energy's a little bit low, that's why. So I'm gonna lean on Frank and Bill to keep this going. But I wouldn't miss this for anything. Flu or not, you know what I mean? So if I disappear, I'll be back, okay? Anyway, so I'm going to hang out. And I'm a stand-up guy. I got my chair today because I might have to sit down. But anyway, I'm kind of getting off track.
You're a trooper, Jeff. We love you, buddy.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
So here's what I just want to do a few notifications here to keep, you know, if you're watching these and you didn't get a personal email from me, invite, and maybe you got it through the Google Hangout. If you did not get a personal email and you want to get invited in these, you can opt in. You can go to keepingitreal.com, and on the right column there's a opt-in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, and anyway, or you can follow us on Google+. But I'm going to hand it over to Frank, my partner in these, and he's going to kind of go over and lay out kind of the outline what we want to accomplish and go over what Bill's going to share, and we're going to dive in, and I'm going to, you know, sit back, hang out, and enjoy. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, Bill, you've identified what I would like to call, I think everyone watching here would say, is the keys of the kingdom. Is really someone consistently prospecting for you, who's not going to leave and go off and compete against you, doesn't have to necessarily be a licensed agent, that isn't taking up a bunch of office space and time, and I mean, it is just the key to the kingdom to have someone to be able to make calls for you, to set phone appointments for you to call back. So I want to get right into it.
Okay.
Can you tell us kind of the story I want to follow is maybe what you were doing before, before you hired this person? Then we're going to talk about the turning point of how you decided to hire a prospector overseas and what that was like. And then toward the end, let's go through what they're doing, what they say, the number of calls they make. And if anyone, by the way, has any questions throughout this, we've enabled the Q&A app, so you can feel free to ask a question, and we'll get that question over here to Bill. So, Bill, why don't you tell us kind of what you were doing before you had a prospecting assistant as you generate your listings and your buyers and so on and so forth?
Yeah, well, great question. And what I was doing is probably what most agents are doing. I was hitting the phones, you know, anywhere from 3 to 5 hours a day, minimum. And first of all, can everybody hear me okay?
Turn it
Yep.
up
And
a
then
little
Jeff,
bit, or talk a little bit louder.
Just a
yeah,
little
then
bit
Jeff, when you cough, the camera's gonna jump to you. So I want you to go ahead and mute yourself because I know you're not feeling too good. Okay, buddy?
All right.
All right, so let me just move this a little bit closer because I'm using a microphone here. Is that a little bit better?
Yeah. What microphone are you using?
I'm using a ball mic.
Oh, great. Yeah, bring that as close to you as possible. Fantastic.
Terrific. Yeah, I'm just it's the same mic you use for podcasts.
Great.
So getting back to your question, I was doing basically what every other agent was doing. I was on the phones 3 to 5 hours a day, and if I didn't have an appointment, I was on the phones in the afternoon. And so primarily what I was calling expireds, old expireds, for sale by owners. At that time, this is way before ISAs or VAs. There was no make me moves or Z buyers and those types of sources. So I was just basically using just dialing, just hand dialing. And I've used RedX as a lead source for several years now. And so basically that's what I was doing. And as I started coaching agents and I started seeing a transformation with some agents out there, some of the younger agents, and I thought it was a really smart way that they're using the business of them starting to use virtual assistants to actually do the prospecting for them. And so as I started coaching other agents, I started picking their brains. And when I started finding out how they were structuring it with their virtual assistants and how they had them set up as far as the salary base and how they trained them and everything, then I dove into it headlong probably March of last year.
So
And,
March of last year is when and it really is true, the dedicated role of doing nothing but prospecting all day.
That's their only role. And we'll get into a little bit deeper that the great thing about these ISAs is they're all college educated. They speak great English, and you can actually get some that they actually come from a telemarketing background. So it's not their first rodeo. This is what they do.
And you're hiring them through a staffing company or like an Elance or a MyOutDesk.
Right.
Someone in the Philippines who has good English that has worked in the call center.
Exactly.
And roughly, generally, the wages there, between what, $5-8 an hour for someone fairly talented?
Yes, and I think if I remember correctly, for a starting salary, it's $6 an hour, and as they get really, really good, then it jumps all the way up to $8 an hour, which is, as you know, if you're going to try to staff a call center here, the salaries are going to be quite a bit more than that. So for me, that was appealing, and it was, I was apprehensive at first because it's kind of an unknown territory. Here's somebody that's 6,000 miles away that I'm going to try to manage, and of course, when they're calling during their time, it's in the middle of the night for them.
Okay.
So she started off part-time, initially when I hired her, and it went to full-time fairly quickly when I saw, how good she was.
Let's talk about some of the characteristic traits. We've all heard the DISC assessment, EVA, Intermetrics, I believe, is another one. How did you hire and find the right person to do this? What did you look for in your prospector?
Well, I look for obviously somebody who is more of a DI or an ID, but typically more of a DI style personality. And the great thing about the service that we used and hired is that they use the same metrics as far as for profiling using personality styles for specific job placement. And so, if you want, I know with the screen sharing process, I've got some stuff off the side here. I can kind of show you what the lead specialist sheet would look like.
And we had a couple of questions come in. Tony Anderson asked what company does he use to hire, and that's fine. I believe he used Daniel Ramsey's company.
Yes.
Initially.
We use MyOutDesk. It's a great company based out of San Diego. And initially, what they do is that you have to send in, and be real specific, and they're very helpful with you as far as coaching you and guiding you on what you're looking for. They ask the right questions. And so
and they know they source them, so they know who's good.
Right, and of course, if you know what you're looking for as well too, then it makes the process even more fine-tuned. So anyway, it's sending a interview sheet initially, what I was looking for to hire, and then from the process from there is that basically you're set up with Skype, and at that point you just interview your VAs until you're satisfied with one, and you choose one.
And she's just working from home, right?
Yeah, she works from home.
She provides her own computer,
she
all
provides
her own
her
equipment.
Own computer, her own phone. Like I said, I've got her set up so that she downloads all the numbers from RedX. I've used for several years Mojo as auto dialer, and so she accesses my dialer, and downloads all the numbers daily into the dialer, dials that out. She has a cell number that shows up from the Bay Area. So if anybody calls back, they're assuming somebody from the Bay Area is calling them about their home.
Okay, and Tony Anderson, I'm sorry, I must have cut out on you. The company is My Outdesk. They specialize in helping you source and hire virtual assistants overseas for various sources. Yeah. The owner there is Daniel Ramsey, good guy. Work with him.
So
okay, so go on.
No. So anyway, so we went through the process and the interview process and picked one out, and at that point, I mean, they go through a pretty intensive training process themselves. My Outdesk to get them prepped. In other words, they're just not thrust in your lap with no training whatsoever. And then at that point, once she went through her training, which took about a month, and then we started, I started working with her and coaching her and training her.
And you started her. She starts at probably $8.60 an hour, which I believe is the high end for someone really good on the phones.
That's right.
If they're only working part time, you're looking at a check of $688 a month.
That's it.
So $688 a month gets you 20 hours a week of calling.
Right.
So let's say we got her on board. What did you do to get her trained, to get her up to speed? I mean, let alone knowing the states and the cities. I mean, it's another country.
Yeah.
How did you get her on board?
It was a process, and it was a daily process initially, where we get together at the end of her shift or near the end of her shift. And I would use the last hour of her shift for training. And so basically, what I did is I got her up to speed because initially, she was doing a pretty good job of setting the appointments and everything. But what I was finding out is that she'd be setting appointments in one end of the valley, and I'd have like an appointment a half an hour later in the opposite end of the valley that took me 45 minutes to get there. So that wasn't working out. So I had to get her, trained as far as understanding, the valley, Las Vegas Valley, where to set the appointments so they made sense time-wise to be able to get from one to the other. So I got her trained up with that. But the key things that really caused it to really take off was a lot on my end, is doing it through trial and error and finding the best way to do it. Because initially, when she started setting the appointments, I just wanted every single appointment.
Now hang on here, but let's talk about the appointments. Did you initially have her setting like in-person appointments? Because now I believe she's just passing the lead, right? And you soften that up.
That's right. Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Well, sure. Initially, what she did is she just started setting the appointments, and I started showing up. And these were primarily, for sell by owners, make me moves, and Z buyers. Okay. So initially, what I would do is I'd go out to the appointment under the understanding that we've got a huge database. Obviously, I've got a Real Geeks site with tons of buyer leads, and I'm going out with the intent of potentially putting them into our buyer database. So that was all well and good, but it didn't help me transition into the real reason why I wanted to be there, which is to list their home. And so I did it the wrong way for about 6 to 7 months until I kept fine-tuning it to find the right way to do it. And I've got it pretty dialed in now, where it's basically what she does now is she just tees it up, sets phone appointments, and then I go through a real specific script that takes them from we have a buyer down to the very bottom, where I'm actually going to come out and show you what I do to sell homes.
So let's go through that script, and if everyone can just maybe take a second. Your levels are a little low, Bill, on your microphone. Right. I think everyone would love it if we can turn it up. Are you on a Mac or a PC?
PC.
On your PC, are you using Windows 8?
No.
So I can turn it up here. In the lower right-hand corner of your screen, do you see the speaker where you turn your microphone up, you turn your speakers up?
Yeah.
I want you to right-click on that little speaker, and you're going to have the option to select recording devices. Do you see recording devices when you right-click on the little speaker in the lower right-hand corner of your screen on Windows?
Yes. I'm on that right there.
Everyone just hang with me. I'm going to get his levels up so you guys can hear him really clearly when we go through the scripts, okay? So give me about 1 second. Okay. So in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, there's a speaker that you use to turn your volume up and down. Mm-hmm. Do you see that speaker?
Yeah.
Good. Now I want you to right-click on that speaker, and is there an option there for a volume mixer or to open a tool palette?
You mean for the microphone?
Yeah, like recording devices. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so open that up. Now, do you see the microphone that you're using, the little one, the microphone, the active default microphone you're using with the little green bar going up and down?
Yeah.
That's the one that your levels are coming through. I want you to right-click on that, and you see where it says Properties?
Uh-huh.
Click Properties. Now that you're going to see Microphone Properties, you're going to see about 4 or 5 tabs there. Do you see the tab that says Levels?
Yes.
Okay. What level is it at from 0 to 100 right now? Good. Bring it up to 100.
How's that?
That should be better, hopefully. Is it all the way up?
Yeah. Let me do a little microphone boost here.
Yep. Bring the microphone boost up.
Better?
Much better. Hopefully that's better, everybody. So I turned his levels up.
You're definitely
So
louder.
let's go through. Good. All right. So let's go ahead and go a couple questions. When your assistant is making calls using the dialer,
Yeah.
the prospector, she's probably calling through a Google Voice number that they put in the from number, so it looks like it's coming from a local number when they call. Is that correct?
It looks like it's coming from a number in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. Yeah.
Calling from San Francisco. Why not Las Vegas?
That's the phone. That's the cell phone number that she has.
Okay. But if you two, I think you could get her Google Voice number with just about any number that you wanted.
I probably could.
And she can call from that.
Yeah.
Okay, good. A couple other questions here really quick. And for her pay, Tony, I believe you're paying her about $9 an hour. Is that correct?
$8 an hour. And we've actually...
Yeah, there's no bonus. There's no bonus for any leads or any bonus for appointments or sales or anything like that.
No, because she's been such a valuable asset, and she's been such a rock star for us. She's a single mom with 5 kids. We paid for her medical insurance for all of her kids too.
Oh, that's great. And then how do you actually get her the money, being she's in the Philippines?
We had to set up an account there. We had to set
up a bank account.
Yeah, a separate account, and they have actually a Filipino bank here in Las Vegas in Chinatown, and everything's transferred into her bank from that bank account.
Okay. And I also think you can probably use Google Wallet or even just PayPal to send the money, I would assume,
Probably.
if that didn't work.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go through the next questions are, which makes a lot of sense, is the whole licensing, licensed conversations versus non-licensed conversations.
Right.
Why don't you share with us the script that you're using for each of the leads she's calling? Let's start with maybe the FSBO, then go on to expire, then go on to the buyer leads, and maybe you can share some of those scripts with us.
Sure, absolutely. And I think I even sent you some of the scripts too initially.
All right.
But when I kind of treat the Make Me Moves, the FSBOs, and the Z buyers all the same. So it's all the same script. So basically, it's when she's calling up and the answer, she goes, "Hello, Bob." Yeah. "Hi, this is Rosemary. I work with Bill Jenkins with Keller Williams, and we saw that you had your home for sale by owner, and my person that I work for, Bill Jenkins, has a lot of buyers that he works with within a database that he may be interested in taking a look at your house. Would there be a good time for him to give you a call to see if your house might be a great candidate for one of the 2,000 buyers that he has?"
Okay.
It's simple.
And you get yeses right from that?
Yeah, she'll get yeses from that, or if they say, well, we're not looking to list, she goes, no, he's not looking to list anything. He just wants to see if he can help you out. If you can find a buyer and it makes sense with an offer, and it makes sense to you, then at that point, then we'll go forward from there.
Okay. And that's it? That's it as far as the script goes?
That's as far as she goes. I've had her going deeper into the script, but then what happens is it becomes redundant because we end up asking the same questions.
Okay.
And I've just found it works better when I go in and I pre-qualify them. I'm working on her, though, to build her skills up, so at some point she's going to circumvent what I'm doing now to close, so that she'll be able to do the script herself. And at that point,
what do you tell her not to say to avoid going too far when it goes into a licensed conversation? Is there like what you do not talk about on there?
Right. Well, yeah, there's nothing really. She basically references that she is working for me, and that I'm a real estate agent, and that she's just my assistant. Period. And so
okay.
she never crosses that boundary where it ever gets in any trouble. And to be honest with you, it's never really been an issue or a challenge with it. And just early on when I was coaching her and training her, I said the most important thing that you need to learn is that you don't argue with anybody. You just simply repeat and approve whatever they say, and regardless of how ridiculous it sounds, you just repeat and approve and move on with the script.
Hey, I found your script here. I'm going to pull this up as a screen share so everyone can take a look at it. How's that sound?
Yeah, perfect.
So let me see if I can screen share this really quick. Maybe you can kind of coach us through the script a little bit, all right?
Absolutely.
And hopefully this has been zoomed in so people can see it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Okay, is this Bill's script or her script?
Her script, this is my script.
Okay,
this is your script.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is my script. Once she sets up the phone appointment, because these have been changed now from actual appointments to phone appointments. This is what it's evolved to.
Okay.
So, in other words, when she tees up the appointment and sets it up as a phone script, this is exactly what I say, when I'm calling them up.
And I think it's really good how and this is important how we have to define here, these are not actual in-person appointments she's setting.
Right.
They're phone appointments. So she's closing for, can Bill call me? Can Bill call you, Thursday between 10 and 11 or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have the actual prospector script that you sent me? I'm scrolling through this every once. Maybe you can on the replay.
This is what I actually use. This is the script I actually use. Let me tell you something. It works great.
Look, can we run through it real quick? Can you
Sure.
run through it real quick,
Sure.
Bill?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's role play it.
Yeah, this is role play. So, ring, ring, ring.
Hello?
Yeah, Jeff?
Yes.
Hey, Jeff. Yeah, this is Bill Jenkins with Keller Williams. And my assistant had set an appointment for me to give you a call here at 4 o'clock, and I'm calling about your house. Is your house still for sale?
Yeah, it is. Thanks.
All right, awesome, great. And the reason for my call is, I work with a lot of buyers in the area, and we've made a commitment to finding them the right home. And what we've done is we've created a list of all the properties available, not just the ones listed in the MLS. Are you listed in the MLS currently?
No, we're not. We're advertising newspaper, Craigslist, that kind of thing.
Okay, great, great. Well, if an agent like myself were to bring you a buyer, are you offering a 3% commission for them?
Oh yeah, most definitely. We're not really looking to list right now, but if you have a buyer, bring them on by, and we definitely we're going to cooperate with real estate brokers.
Perfect, great. That's just what I wanted to hear. So what I'm going to do, Jeff, I'm going to go ahead and add this property to our database. Okay?
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, if you got a buyer, bring them on by.
Of course, absolutely. I mean, that's goal number one. And listen, while I have you on the line, may I ask, are you guys planning on staying there in Hawaii, or are you going to move to the mainland?
Well, we're thinking about moving to Vegas. Taxes are a little better in Vegas.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard it's pretty steep there in Hawaii. So let me ask you, did you have a timetable, Jeff, on how soon you were going to make that move?
Well, we wanted to be there by the school year. We got 10 kids, so we were hoping to get there by the school year, because right now we're doing private tuitions, and that's one of the expenses too we want to get rid of. So we're hoping that our home gets sold so we can get him into a school there in Vegas.
Got it. So you're looking for a fall move-in, and
yeah. Ideally, yes.
Okay, yeah, and it sounds like you got a lot on your plate. I mean, 10 kids in private schools, that sounds like a pretty hefty move.
Yeah.
All right. So Jeff, let me ask you, what's your current sale price?
Current sales price is about 2.7.
2.7 million. Okay.
Yeah.
And just out of curiosity, how did you choose your price?
I went to one of those valuation tools. There's a couple online. The real estate portals, and I plugged those in and kind of talked around to some other agents in the area, and they said that 2.7 wasn't a bad price.
Okay. All right. And have you had a recent appraisal?
No. We did, but that was back, when the market was, in 2006, 2008. So we haven't had one recently.
Not recently, okay.
No.
And, how long have you been trying to sell your house by yourself, Jim?
We've been doing it for about 3 to 4 months now.
About 3 to 4 months. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, a little bit before summer started.
Right before summer. Terrific. Would you be willing at all to adjust your price when working with buyers?
Well, yeah. I mean, if we had a good, solid buyer and they're qualified, we might have a little bit of a wiggle room. It all depends.
All right, fair enough. And what type of marketing are you currently using to sell your house?
Well, we're doing Craigslist, and like I said, and we're doing some newspaper, and there's a couple online sites that we're putting it on there. We heard the internet's good, to get some exposure.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you're doing a newspaper, Craigslist, and some other sites as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. When my assistant called you, did she tell you anything about any of the marketing techniques that we use to get homes sold?
No, she didn't. But she said you have a big buyer database, and that you would be calling that you had a potential buyer, or you could market to your database, which sounded appealing. That's why we're on the phone.
Absolutely. We have a huge buyer database, and we can talk a little bit more about that if we can schedule something to come by and take a look at your house. What I'd like to do, if I could, I'd like to come by at maybe at 3 o'clock or maybe 4 o'clock. That'd be better. This way, I could share with you some ideas that actually may help you sell your house. How does that sound?
3 or 4. That's not going to work. That's when the kids come home. Would 6 o'clock in the evening work?
Yeah, 6 would work. Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. So 6 o'clock this evening or tomorrow?
This evening. Oh, I got a parent meeting today, but maybe tomorrow. Yeah, Friday would be good.
Friday would be good. Okay, at 6 o'clock. And Jeff, just a couple more questions, and I'll let you go.
Sure.
How long do you think you're going to continue on your own until you explore other options to get your home sold?
I don't know. We've discussed about possibly, doing with an agent, but we're not sure right now. We're trying to net as much money as possible because we're going to move to Vegas, and we want to get a big house because we got a lot of kids, and have some extra money in the bank, in a new area.
Absolutely. So absolutely, that's of course that's the number one goal, is to net the most money you can.
Sure. Yeah.
And in the event that you can't do that on your own, I mean, obviously we're going to put you in our database and make sure that these things are going to work for you. In the event that doesn't work out, though, do you have a time frame when you might explore other options?
Possibly in the next, few weeks, we might consider it, because we really do want to make the move, and we want to get our kids into the school. And I guess we could always send my wife over there and rent a house, but that gets kind of messy.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, and say in a few weeks' time, if you did decide to take action, because of your time frame having to move here, do you have somebody in mind that you would trust, or would you consider meeting with an aggressive agent like myself?
Oh, I like aggressive. That aggressive sounds good. We do have a couple other agents that are kind of family friends, or friends of friends, but there's no commitment. If we decide to do this, I want to get this thing done. I got 10 kids. And I'm running a couple businesses. If I get this done, I want to feel comfortable that I've got a good agent that's going to get it done.
Yeah, I completely agree with you with that. So, Jeff, here's how I can help you. First of all, I respect the fact that you want to sell the house yourself. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to come see it and show you how I work with a lot of folks just like yourselves trying to sell your home. And here's the deal. If you keep doing what you're doing and have an aggressive agent like myself on your side, and you knew I could get you more money in a shorter period of time, would you at least want to hear about it?
Yeah, did you say that I could keep doing what I'm doing and have an aggressive agent on my side? How does that work?
Well, see, if I can sell it for you, in other words, you have the option to take the offer and pay my fee. However, if you can sell it on your own, you don't owe me anything. Does that sound like something you'd be interested in hearing more about?
Okay, I want to make sure that I'm getting this straight, because I want to make sure I'm following this, right? So you're saying that you could list my home, and I can continue to offer it, and if I bring in a buyer myself, then I don't have to pay you, but you're going to market it. But if you bring in a buyer first, then I pay you, and it's a normal listing. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, actually, you probably understand it more than most of the people I talk to, but that's exactly correct.
I wanted to make sure I was hearing things correctly.
No, that's absolutely right. And does that sound like, something that you don't want to hear more about? Because obviously, life is not black and white. There's gray areas. Now, I can show you some options for you. Besides putting your home in a database with our buyers, but some additional options that would help you net the most money. That's what we're talking about.
Well, yeah. That sounds good. It sounds like a win-win to me, because I can market it, and if I get a buyer, I don't have to pay you, but then I got a professional working for me, right?
Absolutely.
You are a professional, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, that's the last time I checked. When I looked at my license, I'm a professional. So this is the deal. If you, like I said, if you can continue on your own. Quite frankly, if you find somebody that I had nothing to do with, I don't have a commission, do I?
Well, not really. Not when you say that. Say it like that.
Of course not. Of course not. So why would I charge you with something I didn't earn? That doesn't make
sense.
Yeah,
that seems fair.
Terrific. So 6 o'clock tomorrow is going to work for you?
Yeah, that sounds great. I can't wait.
Well, I'm going to bring, obviously I want to come over, take a look at the house, get an idea of how it'd be a fit, because I'm going to try to solve your problem in a couple of ways here. If we can bring in a buyer, that'd be awesome. It makes sense. If at some point, if one of the buyers aren't interested, or for whatever reason you can't get it sold, I'm going to share with you some options on how to get your home sold. How does that sound?
That sounds good. Hey, I got a quick question, Bill. Because I know most agents I've been talking to, they want like 6%. Will you do it for 5%?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question. That's one of the first things we'll talk about when I show up there. In fact, I'm going to show you actually a tiered commission structure that I know no other agent's doing. How does that sound?
Well, that sounds great. All right. Well, we look forward to the meeting. Thanks.
All right. See you tomorrow at 6.
All right. Great. All right. Good job. Good job, Bill.
Yay. That was very well done.
I'm feeling better already.
But that was really good, man. I really enjoyed it.
I'm going to fly out and list your house, Jeff.
Come on now.
So, Bill, everyone, what we want to do is we want to kind of keep this on point. We're really going to drive down these last 30 minutes. I have a bunch of questions for you, Bill, if that's all right.
Sure. Yeah,
we're going to kind of become rapid fire.
And I have a few questions too, but I'll jump in when I want.
So let's just kind of get back to the simplicities about like hiring and training a full-time prospector. So rapid fire here. How many hours a day or how many hours a week is your prospector working?
She's working out 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
And what are the hours of her prospecting?
The hours of her prospecting are probably 6 out of the 8.
Okay, so she's prospecting 6 out of the 8 hours. Got that. What are the actual
Right.
times though? She's
Times Las
Got
Vegas.
you. Got you.
Yeah.
It's as far as my time, it's from 8 o'clock until 4 o'clock my time, and so for her, that's in the middle of the night.
Okay, and roughly in a given day, and this might change depending upon the type of lead she's calling.
Mm-hmm.
But let's define that first. So she's calling FSBO, expired, circle calls, just listed, just sold.
That's later on in the afternoon.
Let's talk about the order of the calls right when she comes in. Who's she calling throughout the day? What's the order?
The order she has is first things are the new expireds. It goes through that, which doesn't take that much time because there's not that many. I'm anticipating that's going to start climbing though because the inventory is climbing, and we're going to get second chance expireds here. So she starts with those, then she goes to old expireds, cancels and withdrawals, and goes back 6 months to a year on those. Then once she's gone through that, then she calls the FSBOs, Make Me Moves, and Z-Buyers. And I don't know if anybody knows about Z-Buyer, but it's actually a service where sellers are looking for buyers. And their psychology is the same as a FSBO or a Make Me Move.
Got it. All right, so after the Z-Buyers, then we got?
Then after that, then she does circle prospecting, calling around neighborhoods and sales, around just listed, just solds, and basically she pulls the phone numbers from the lead store from Mojo. And
so I would assume the expires, the old expires, the FSBOs come from Redex.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the only source you're using.
That's the only source I'm using right now.
Okay. And then Make Me Moves and Z-Buyer come from their sources.
Right.
Circle prospecting, where do you get circle prospecting numbers? Directly from the Mojo store on Mojo Sells?
Directly from the Mojo store, yeah. I just have her hit the areas via zip code.
Okay. What about past clients, centers of influence, people clicking links in emails, stuff like that?
I don't have her call past clients. I've thought about that, but we do that ourselves, and I think it's a little bit. It would be less of a personal touch if I had my VA doing that. So we call our past clients. And
I agree.
Yeah.
So let's say in a given day, so she's prospecting for say 6 of the 8 hours, the other 2 hours maybe taking a break or doing some research. How many attempts, how many outbound calls are being placed in a given day? Because I'm assuming some are single line dialing, but some may be triple line dialing through Mojo.
Right. She's averaging, I don't really keep track of the dials. I actually keep track of just the contacts. Mm-hmm. But she averages anywhere from 100, anywhere from 90 to 120 contacts a day.
90 to 120 contacts.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's define this. That is not dials.
No, that's not dials. Yeah, that's an adult decision maker that when you pick up the phone, they either say screw you.
She's speaking to 90 or 120 people. Now, can we go through a little bit? So there's actually 90 to 120 people every day between those hours actually answer the phone.
Well, she's doing it for 6 hours, so at some point she's reaching people.
Does she leave a voicemail? Do you guys do voicemails?
I don't have her leave voice messages, no.
Okay, so no voicemails. And then how many attempts, how many dials does it go until you drop the call? Three and out, 4 and out?
Something like that, 3 and out. Yeah, I think that's where we got it set up automatically in Mojo, is 3 and out. But she does follow up. I mean, so she's got a full day because I mean, you can imagine when she create this many leads. I mean,
I can only imagine.
Oh, it's ungodly. I couldn't do it.
Well, let me ask you this: if she's making all those outbound phone calls from her phone number. Right. How many callbacks are you getting from people saying, "Who is this?"
Yeah, well, she does. She gets quite a few callbacks, and I think that's the other reason why I think I like the idea that it's the numbers from the Bay Area, because they're thinking, "Who is this?" Because if the number showed up that was calling from my office or a Google line, they may not be as interested or intrigued by that. So it's actually caused initial additional conversations. She's very good at getting into rapport with people when they're calling back.
Okay. How's her English? Like, if she were to call me, would I feel like she's from America? With all due respect.
Not that close. And one of the things I noticed is that we work on that periodically because she'll kind of more lapse into a little bit more of a Filipino dialect. Not a dialect, but
accent.
Accent. Thank you. So it's when she's really conscientious and aware of it. It's like she speaks better English than most people that live here.
So for what is that? For $688 a month, you're buying basically 400 to 500 contacts.
Pretty much, yeah.
No, I'm sorry, for 1,200 because she's full time.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're spending what, just a little over $1,200 a month on her,
Right,
and you're
right.
getting between 400 to 500 people being spoken to on the phone with a very simple script, which is really nothing more than, are you interested in buying or selling a house? Can we maybe go a little deeper into the exact script that your prospector is using, maybe for each of these expireds and FSBOs, so we can be really clear on? Because I'm assuming from the one of the questions is how do you the do not call laws, which are very open to interpretation.
Right.
But you're taking the stance in the defense that they're customer service-based phone calls and not telemarketing calls.
Absolutely. Yeah, because it's.
So if there was litigation, you're gonna have to defend.
Right.
That. Right.
Right. This is a customer service call. So when she's circle prospecting, she said, "Listen, we just listed a home in your area. A lot of the neighbors that we called are, found that they're interested in finding out what their values are, and the agent that I work with or work for."
Do you have those written out, Bill? Maybe you can share with us. And by the way, everybody, I posted.
I'll send those to you if you like.
Yeah. By the way, everyone, on the comment section on the Hangout here, I went ahead and copy and pasted that entire FSBO script for you. That's available. But I would love for the follow-up if I can get like the exact script she's using.
Sure.
And it'd be really cool to be able to share for everybody.
Yeah,
but I'm guessing it's just for a just listed, just sold call. Hey, there's a property in your area that's just sold.
It's real simple. I mean, it's like most of these.
You want to buy or sell a house or not?
Yeah, exactly. Look. This is not anything magical or anything like that. The just listed, just sold scripts and expired scripts are Mike Ferry scripts. And there's the same scripts that I'm sure that like I've used, Jeff's used, and a lot of other agents have used for years.
Yeah.
Now there was a question I asked you before of. So you're saying out of, you're spending, let's break down the numbers. You're spending about $1,200 a month on a dedicated prospector.
Right.
Hey, I want to jump in there real quick because $1,280 a month on the prospecting, but the actual contacts, because she's working for a whole month at 90 days, 1,980 contacts for the month, not 500 that you have.
No, hang on. She's making 90 to 120 contacts a day. Let's call it 100 a day. That's 500. It's 2,000 a month. My bad.
2,200. Yeah. So you got to. I just wanted to correct that. I caught up on that. Anyway.
Thank you, everyone. I have horrible math skills.
So about 2,000 contacts for $1,200.
So for $1,200, you're getting 2,000 contacts. A month.
It's a lot of contacts.
And out of 2,000 contacts, you're getting about 40 people saying, "Go ahead and call me back. I am interested."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Now here's one more conversion.
Numbers you have to go through.
Here's one more conversion rate. Of those 40 people, how many of those people are actually show up to the call and are actually seriously accepted by you into your sales pipeline?
Yeah, great question. I probably turn down probably about 60 to 70% of them that I call, maybe more. And I'm just trying to.
You're probably going to accept maybe 15 solid leads a month.
Probably, yeah, probably. I mean, I think in June when I looked at the numbers, because I was in San Diego 2 weeks out of the month, so I didn't work the whole month. But I think there was 31 appointments that she set for that month. Of those, I turned down. Do this off the top of my head here. I'm trying to remember this. I think there was. I turned down enough where I think I actually went on only 13 appointments for the month, but that was an exceptional month. I ended up actually taking 8 listings.
You're probably pretty skilled at really pre-qualifying them when they do answer the phone.
Yeah, that's the deal. It's like if I can sense over the phone when I'm going through this script that they're giving me closing signals and motivation, then at that point I'm really confident once I get in front of them that I'm going to take the listing. I'll give you an example. We had 2 listing appointments that I went on Saturday, and we took the first listing, and when I showed up at the house, first of all she told me that she was OCD, and then once I got when I got to the house I realized she really was. There was like 20 pre-listing packages stacked up on her kitchen table.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, met with like 20 people. And
so I would have taken all of them and got some market research from my company.
Well, that's funny. That's exactly what I did. It's funny you said that, because I was going through these, and she went out in the kitchen to get something. I started going through the packages, going, "Oh, that's nice. I'm going to steal that, and I'm going to take some of that too."
Yeah.
So anyway, to make a long story short, I walked her through everything that we did, and as far as what we do as far as marketing. closed her, and I took the listing. And then I also said, look, if you want, it looks like you're probably going to toss these. I'll take these off your hands and take them. So I said, oh yeah, I don't care. I'll just
Is your prospect? I'm sorry, I didn't ask you this. Is your prospect making calls on the weekends? Like, are they working Wednesday through Sunday or Monday through Friday?
Yeah, great question. She works Monday through Thursday, and she's off Friday, and she's off Sunday.
Great.
So she works Monday through Thursday and works Saturday. Reason for that is that we kind of found that on Fridays we just weren't. She wasn't getting the
contacts.
Yeah, and so she split up her days off to get better results.
Okay. What about Okay, so this is a gal in the Philippines working. Let's put this in perspective. Working from home.
Yeah.
Full-time prospecting.
Yeah.
That has to like drain her. I mean, what are you doing to motivate her? And let's talk about like managerial things that you have in place to keep this superwoman going here for you.
Yeah.
What do you do for that?
And she is a superwoman. She's not just an employee now. She's like part of our family. And like I said, when we didn't have to pay for her insurance, that was a decision that we made, and we've helped her out in a lot of other ways as well too. So when you extend yourself more than just an employer, but you extend them as if they're part of the family, they're not used to getting that kind of treatment. And so when we do those,
do you talk to her every day? Do you do like a morning huddle? Do you do weekly 4-on-1 meetings?
No, we did it initially at the beginning. We do now. It's once a week. In fact, I'm going to meet with her right after this hangout is over. 5 o'clock. That's our designated time. At 5 o'clock, and then we get together for like about probably half an hour.
What do you ask her on your weekly meetings?
Basically, what are you hearing? What are you hearing that's kind of tripping you up? What's your sense when you're talking to people? What are some of the objections you're hearing, if anything like that? And then what we do is we role play them. And that's what I did extensively a lot at the very beginning. Because at first, she just wasn't used to hearing what the typical objections are with expires and FSBOs. And so what I did is I said, well, look, anything that's tripping you up as far as any type of objection, what I want you to do is I want you to write it down. And as you're going through that, what we're going to do on our coaching sessions is I'm going to coach you on how to respond to those. I'm going to give you about 3 to 5 different ways to respond to it. And that's what we would do. We just we went through that, and so what happens, and Jeff, you know this, is that when you're really good at handling objections, you don't get them anymore.
No, you deal with them ahead of time when you're talking with them.
Right, exactly. But it's true. It's like when you already know, the answers to the objections. You don't get the objections. And
how is it?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm just so fascinated by this. I love building sales teams. And by the way, there's a book I have to share with everyone that's changed our business here at Viral Marketing. Has changed a lot of our clients' businesses. It's called Predictable Revenue. Who likes that book title, huh?
I love it.
If you go to predictablerevenue.com, Aaron Ross actually started the sales team for Salesforce.com and how he organized it. And he wrote a book on it. And it talks about never having your salespeople prospect. Salespeople shouldn't prospect. And that's his whole gimmick, right?
Yeah.
And it's about you should hire dedicated prospectors to identify the leads, which get passed to the salesperson. So the salesperson in your high-paid, $100,000 a year closing talent is not dealing with raw leads; they're only dealing with leads that have been passed over.
Yeah.
From a prospector.
And that's essentially what Bill's doing, right, Bill?
Yeah.
That's
you're following exactly what's in the Predictable Revenue book, which I think if anyone want to learn more about this, they can pick up that book and learn a lot more.
I might add, I'm not doing it this way because I'm so brilliant. I did it wrong to this point.
All right, let's even get a few more questions. Now, everyone wants to know where the scripts are. If you actually go to the Google Plus page, or check your email, if you clicked yes, it's on the Google Plus page under. Just go to Google Plus, type in Real Geeks, and you can see that on there versus keepingitreal.com. I posted that there, and then we're gonna get. If you can get for me afterwards, this is important. In the replay email, I have to include links to the actual scripts the prospector is using.
Absolutely.
Or the calling assistant, whatever you use using.
Sure.
How long has she been working for you?
She officially started with us April of 2013.
And she has not quit yet?
No. I don't think she's going to quit anytime soon.
Well, that's what someone questioned. I mean, they said this is a ridiculous amount of prospecting.
Yeah.
And most people, I mean, is there any insight you can provide us on?
Well, yeah, keep an open line of communication daily. I mean, and keep expectations high, and also find out what their goals are. What are their goals and dreams and aspirations? And my focus for her is to help her do what she needs to do for her family.
Yeah, I think she's lucky to have a coach like you to help her that has coaching experience.
Well, I'm lucky to have her, and see it's reciprocal. And when you treat each other with mutual respect, and you genuinely care about what somebody else's goals and aspirations are, and you meet those expectations, and why would they have any reason to leave?
Bill, we should do a training and teach people how to do this.
Yeah, well, it's really easy. You just you come across and be genuine and sincere, and actually care about the people that that are on your team. And there's actually within Keller Williams, there's a system, I'm sure you've heard of it. It's called Recruit, Select, Train, Lead, Motivate. Mm-hmm. And probably the lead motivate portion of that system is my favorite. And there's some things there called getting the book on somebody, which is a really exciting thing to do after somebody's been with you a year. I actually did that with my assistant Rosemary. And getting the book is basically finding out and asking specific questions about what their goals, dreams, and aspirations are. And what's surprising about that is that when you ask these questions of them, it's something that they never think about themselves, but you actually pull it out and draw it out of them. And so, what I did is, I did this via Skype so that we could see each other, and I had a whiteboard behind me and wrote down the key things.
That's great. Now that's a great tip.
Right.
So you're doing all of the conversations on Skype.
Right.
You got a whiteboard.
Yeah.
Mine. And you wrote down all of her goals there for you.
Right. Wrote down all of her goals. I mean, and of course, there's other things you can do as well. But I think that's you can use Join Me, but I think having it where it's sort of real time, similar to what we're doing here, is a lot more dynamic and powerful.
Okay. Interesting. A couple more questions. Let me just run through a couple. And I answer the question. Copy of the scripts will be sent with the replay. We're going to make sure that goes out in the email.
There's another script I want to go through too, but go ahead. I'll answer some questions.
How many follow-up calls are you doing? I'm assuming you're doing what, about 40 follow-up calls, because you're setting 40 phone appointments a month for you about, right?
No, I keep following up, but basically it's I follow up until I get a restraining order. They're the ones initially that.
So hold on. If your prospector passes the lead over to you, this person's interested.
That's
and you call them. They don't show up to the call. You'll just call them forever and ever and ever and ever and ever until you answer.
I said, at that point, it's just look. I mean, you expressed interest that you want to sell your home or meet with us.
How many calls are you making a day these days now?
Not as many. Not as many because I don't have to. I mean, most. I say I got a 90% ratio of people that answer their phones. I mean, she just tees it up so great for me that I can kind of show you my calendar to give you an idea of what it looks like.
That's all right.
Okay. Anyway, so
let's keep going. Is there any other? You said you had another script that you want to share. I think people would really enjoy that. Feel free to ask any questions here with the last 12 minutes we have anyone for Bill about hiring a prospector or a VA to make phone calls for you. Let's go ahead and share that script, Bill.
Sure. And this one kind of ties in with this, and I think this is a lot more dynamic when it's in person versus over the phone. And it's a really great script I came across. It's called the FSBO problem script. And
I think you sent that to me. I'll pull it up here as you. Let me pull it up.
I did send it to you. Yeah.
Yep, I'll pull it up so everyone can see it.
It's really illuminating for sale by owners, make me moves, and Z buyers, because they don't think in these terms. FSBO thinks that they're going to put their home on the market, and people are going to magically appear and pay top dollar for their overpriced home.
Hey, Bill, while he's pulling that up, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm curious, how many agents are you actually coaching right now?
I'm coaching right now 23, and I've got open. I only have 4 more open slots. I only coach Mondays and Tuesday mornings for half-an-hour slots, and it's pretty much from 8 o'clock up until about 12:30. And it's nonstop.
So you're doing all this,
yeah,
and going to do 80 transactions, and you're coaching about 24 clients right now as well, coaching them how to do more business, do business planning, mindset, scripts, all the stuff. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
I got another quick question before we get into that. how many days a week do you personally work, and how much time do you take off? Because people are probably wondering, like, oh my God, is this guy Superman? He works 24/7. You know.
Yeah, no, I work. You know, I work pretty much. I work Monday through Saturday.
Okay.
I do not work Sunday at all.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I take some time off. You know, during the summer, that's probably when I take the most time off. So, like I said, in June, you know, we have a little beach place in San Diego, and I spent the first week of June down there, and then the last week of June through the 5th of July. I'm going to be going back down there in August. So
awesome.
Yeah, so I take time, but when I'm here, you know, I work.
You're focused.
And I'm focused on it, so I can enjoy that time there.
Cool.
Yeah, perfect.
Couple questions really quick. You're passing over 40 leads. You're making just 2,000 contacts a month.
Right.
And you're passing over 40 leads. Is that correct?
Approximately, yeah.
Okay. And then the other question is, is there any way you organize the call list so she doesn't call someone you have already spoken with?
Well, no, we never run into that because, first of all, she'll only set an appointment with somebody that she reaches, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And the only ones that I follow up with are the ones that she set appointments with that, for whatever reason, didn't answer their phone.
So once they talk to you, she doesn't call them ever again?
No. I mean, once she's talked to them and set the appointment and put it in my calendar, she doesn't talk to them again. It's up to me.
Okay. And then in the very beginning, to find your VA, you went to My Outdesk, which is an outsourcing company that kind of does that for you. But if you wanted to skip the outsourcing company and do it directly yourself, I would check out a site like Google VA and type in Elance or My Outdesk. Yeah. Dan had a really interesting question, and I can maybe help you out with this, Dan. Do you think this is a scalable solution for, say, a team of 40-plus agents? Like, why not scale this up with like 20 prospectors?
Trust me, I've thought of that because right now I'm at pretty much critical mass by myself.
Let me give you. There's an individual that's doing this. His name is Jeff Cohn. He's a realtor out of Omaha, Nebraska. He's the #1 agent in Nebraska. Sold about 50 homes last month. Dan, check out 1000callsaday.com. Who enters the leads in the database? I don't know who's that question. I'm not sure what that question means. Who enters these leads into your database, Bill?
She does. Well, no, yeah, she does. And I think I'm not sure about the question, but if you're talking about the leads, as far as for the appointments that she sets, or once they become.
I would guess once, because all the leads, she brings in all the initial leads.
Yeah.
She's calling them, and then when she identifies the person, does it go into a different CRM? Or
gotcha. Yes, it does.
Okay.
I use Infusionsoft.
Great.
And so I have an assistant here, in my office that inputs all of those leads, the FSBOs, Z-buyers, making moves, expires, and they go into specific campaigns within Infusionsoft. They all get a handwritten note.
Nice, man.
Yeah, and they all get.
You got it going on. I know exactly what you're doing. Yeah. So the second she identifies that lead from the raw numbers.
Right.
You put it into Infusionsoft. There's probably a little video drip campaign or something that goes to warm that lead up.
Right. Well, I'm actually working on that right now. We're adding more videos to the Infusionsoft campaigns and some calculators and some other things, even empowered even more.
Yeah, I would assume. Yeah. Anna's asking, Anna Maria, that the VA actually types the data into the CRM database. Yeah. So she's passing over about 40 leads to you a month. So there's about 40 people that are being entered into Infusionsoft. Is that correct?
Yeah.
She's not making the calls out of Infusionsoft. She's making the calls out of a dialer where they're all loaded in there, thousands of numbers.
Right.
And then once the lead's identified, then it goes into the actual CRM. She's not making the calls out of the CRM.
Because I don't think it would be, first of all, you're going to get a lot of people opting out if there hasn't been some type of contact with them initially before you put them into some type of campaign.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, then you're just kind of like spamming them with a campaign. It's just, that's not. I don't think that's an effective way of using a tool.
Bill, do you use Rebo Gateway? What's REBO Gateway? Like for legal filings, distress, tax defaults?
Rebo Gateway.
REBO Gateway. Vicki Moore, maybe you've given us a tip to go check out for new lead source. Thanks, Vicki.
Thank you. I knew I'd be learning something on this call.
Nice.
Great.
Thank you.
Valerie, it's not Fusionsoft, it's Infusionsoft.
Yes.
INFUSI, Infusionsoft.com.
Right.
They make contact management software and marketing email drips, so you can check that out. Okay.
Hey guys, for whatever reason, like the last 5 or 10 minutes, I completely lost the video on my side. So can you still see me and hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, oh yeah, I can see you perfectly.
I can't see you guys, but anyway, we'll keep talking.
All right. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Okay. Cool. I think you had a couple more questions. We got 5 minutes left, and everyone keeps asking for the scripts. We will be sending these out in the replay email. I promise you will get them.
Yeah.
To make sure you receive the replay email, make sure you go to keepingitreal.com and put your email address in. So you're actually on the.
If you're not already getting the reminders and the on live air emails.
Yeah, so if you came here on Facebook and you're not opted into the email list, make sure you go to Keeping It Real and opt in to get the email replay reminder. We'll also make sure, Jeff, when we do the replay, we post that on Facebook. Let's also include the direct links to the scripts which we can put on a live Google Doc.
Totally.
Okay.
If I can add something right here that's going to really make this, this system that I use really come alive. The most important thing is, obviously, it's like your approach when you're on the appointment. I mean, that's going to, it's such a huge important point that if you're not, well, let me put it another way. This is not going to automatically guarantee that you're going to take listings, by going on these appointments and using this script. The most important thing you've got to be doing is obviously, role-playing and practicing. And if I can impart anything from the 7,000 coaching calls I've had with agents, is being clear is that you have to repeat back whatever they say and agree with them and approve. So obviously when you're repeating something back, what does it show them? It shows them that you're listening. When you're approving what they're saying, what does it show? It shows them that you're on your side. So here's a great question that will make you think. Can somebody argue with you if you agree with them?
No. It's
impossible. So stop arguing with them. If they, they tell you, well, I'm in no hurry. Of course you're not. I mean, what a great house. And I'll actually sit there and I'll agree with them on every single point about why they don't want to list and agree with them. And I'll say, yeah, why would you want to move? This house is great. I mean, look, you got a great payment, a great neighborhood. Why guys even want to sell?
Bill, I got to keep going, man. I'm sorry. I got some great questions here popping up from some sharp guys.
Hey, Bill, maybe we can do another session. We can go over some basic communication skills and scripts and stuff like that, because I think people would really benefit from that.
We got some pointed questions.
Yeah.
We got some pointed questions for the VA stuff. So Tim wanted to know, it's make sure you put the www in www.1000callsaday.com. So you can check that out. Follow-up. Which group converts the best, do you find, Bill, when you for expireds, old expireds, FSBOs, Make Me Move, Z-Buyer, Circle Prospecting? If someone had to maybe really own with their VA a certain group, what would that be?
Probably FSBOs. Those are the easiest. FSBOs, Make Me Moves, and Z-Buyers are the easiest appointments to set. Because, first of all, they're all looking for one thing. They're looking for a buyer. So just dangle that carrot of having buyers. And it's so easy to set appointments. And at that point, and this is what I finally figured out, it's like, ultimately they're going to list. They're going to list with somebody. Yeah. And they know that. They're just not being forthcoming because they think that they can do it on their own. And we're not in the market anymore where they could do that. Probably prior, 18 months prior, maybe January 2012 up until last summer, they could. There was low inventory, sales were low. I mean, sales were pretty high, and so homes were flying off the shelves. That's not the case now. Now you actually have to have some skills to sell properties now when you're listing properties. So it's really all about educating them about what's going on with their market and sharing with them. So, I mean, and the last thing that I share with them, when I'm sitting across from them, I said, look, really, Mr. and Mrs. FSBO, really, there's four kind of buyers. There's four types of buyers, and that's what I found in the last, 10 years that are out there. I mean, number one, the first type of buyer, they're serious and in a hurry. They might be moving to your town. They've got 3 days to find a home, or maybe they just sold theirs and need to get into another, or they're going to lose their contract. The second type are the serious but not in a hurry. And it may be a condition because of job transfer, or they're waiting for kids to get to school. Or there might be first-time home buyers. And, of course, most first-time home buyers are proceeding cautiously. They probably want somebody to hold their hand, right? Of course, they say yes. Now, the third type are the investors. And I don't want to call them investors. I would probably call them speculators, because they want to buy everything 10 cents on a dollar, and I bet you've already had some calls from them, haven't you? Of course, they say yes. And so, you know, they've you know, they're trying to get your home 10 cents on a dollar, and of course they don't want you to have representation, nor do they have representation. Does that make sense? I say yes. And lastly, number 4 is the look-you-lose, and we really shouldn't call them buyers because they can't qualify. Agents won't put them in the car, and so they go out and they prey on folks like yourselves. So when I think of the 4 types of buyers, the first type, serious and in a hurry, do you think they're going to be out with an agent, you know, looking at everything they can find, or are they going to be looking out on their own? They're going to say, well, they'll probably be with an agent. And the second type, you know, with a serious buyer who wants to proceed cautiously, or maybe it's a condition that they have to wait, do you think they're out looking on their own, or they're actually using an agent? Well, they're probably using an agent. Well, third, if you want, you know, an investor or a speculator who wants to steal your home, do you think they're going to be out with an agent? Of course not. And lastly, with the looky-loos, who cares? Do you even want them around? So can you see, Mr. FSBO, that you're actually using a strategy that's actually attracting the wrong type of person? So when you hire a powerful agent like myself, I'm going to be attracting the type of buyers that's going to help you net the most money. Does that make sense?
Of course it does.
And Bill, I think we have a little bit of overtime because I'm getting flooded with questions. I can't even keep up. All right.
Are you okay? Are you okay doing that? Because I know you got
that meeting. Can I get 5 minutes of overtime, Bill?
Sure.
5 minutes, I promise.
Yeah.
All right. I think that we had a lot of ROI questions from our great analytical viewers. Okay. So if we know the numbers, so we're talking full-time prospector. Let's break this down.
Yeah.
Roughly about what? What did you say? Was it about $1,200, about $1,300 a month?
Well, thereabouts. I actually broke it down for you. I mean, because I knew we'd get some analyticals on the call.
Yeah.
So from April of 2013 through this month, I paid her a net salary of $21,760. Okay. And from that, I've closed net business after expenses and everything of $112,760. And from business that I haven't closed yet, that was a direct result of her setting the appointments. $2.2 million in listings not yet sold, or approximately about $66,000 in GCI.
That sounds great.
And that was not gross commissions. That was actual net profit.
No, that was net. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people get gross profit confused with net.
Well, I don't get it confused because
I know you don't.
I can't put gross in my pocket.
No, because it's gross.
That's exactly right. Yeah, so that's her salary net, and so it's, you know, when you look at it, it's about, you know, it's about a little over 5.5:1 to ratio of what, you know, what your expense is versus your return. I'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah, so actually from your net, I just did the calculation. Her net, you know, her pay to her, and your net profit, she's costing you of your net, not even of your gross, 19%. So of your gross, it's even less.
Right.
Sounds like a pretty good investment.
It
Bill,
was. It's gotten better.
Why doesn't everyone do this?
Good question.
I mean, how long did it take you when you put the $1,200 down to hire the person? How long did it take for you to get that $200 back? What's the cash conversion cycle?
Great
3
question.
months, 4 months?
It took me about 5 months to monetize, starting to monetize it.
So you were in $6,000 after 5 months.
Yeah.
Assuming full 40 hours a week of prospecting before you started getting the money back.
Yeah.
So you need to have the capital to do it.
Yeah, you do, and also, and it wasn't on her end; it was on my end.
Okay.
I just got better at converting.
Who handles the leads when you're on vacation?
She just
Is she calling them when?
She piles them up.
Do we take the day off? Is she still calling? I mean, who handles the lead?
No. When I go on vacation, she keeps working, and she just piles them up and lets them know that. And she sets appointments. So typically, it's like I'm going back from vacation.
And remember, they're. Let me be very clear. Phone appointments.
They're phone appointments. Yeah, they're not slam dunks. I mean, none of these are. You've got to go in there and earn the business. So particularly when I go on vacation and come back, I mean that week is just like ridiculous. It's anywhere from 4 to 5 appointments a day because they're just piled up.
Sounds like horrible problems to have.
It is a horrible problem. Well, you know what? I need to get better at leveraging, and I'm working on that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, wow. This is a really good hangout. Jeff,
nice.
Wrap it up?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, and thank Bill for taking his time. He's awesome. Like I said, I already knew he was awesome. And, you know, I see you popping back up here. Hey, And Bill, so you're up for a future hangout down the road?
Absolutely.
We won't hit you too soon, but I know that there's a million things that you could probably help as a coach and get on here and go over some stuff. So you're good with that?
Absolutely, and it's just stuff. From after 7,000 calls, there's really specific things that I could probably help and give some value and target that would help people with their conversion ratios.
Yeah, so maybe you can think about a few of those things and hit me up, in a few weeks or whatever, and say, hey, you know what? It'd be great if we covered this and this.
It'd be fun.
And we can collaborate on that. Anyhow, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Our next one is going to be August 14th, and tentatively we have Justin Rollo. He's a Real Geeks customer. He does a lot. He's a really he's into the technology. Justin Rollo, you know Justin, right, Bill?
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
Yeah, he's a really smart guy. He does a lot of testing, a lot of landing pages, and stuff like that. We need to get him better on follow-up and making calls, but he's really good when it comes to that. And I'm buddies with Justin, so he's okay with that. So I'm looking forward to Justin. He's going to share what he's doing, different things that he's tested, and how he's getting more leads and how he's following up with that. And then, maybe we can even get on there and find out how he's handling those, and maybe we can help him live on air how to do a better job following up and converting more. And I think he's doubled his business in the last year or more. I can't remember, so don't quote me on that, but I know his business has increased a lot over the last year from the year before.
I'm happy to hear that.
So we'll be doing that, and anyway, until then, we are gonna send out a replay email.
Give us about 48 hours for a good replay, so I get those scripts in there. We'll email it out. We'll post it up on the Facebook page for Real Geeks. I'll make sure everyone gets copies of everything, so you can go back and watch it again and take notes and learn, so we can implement.
Yeah, and we'll have some notes and some time stamps on that. And if you're viewing this or you found this on Facebook or something else, and you're not tuning live, you can go to keepingitreal.com. On the right side, there's a place you can just put in your name. I think it's just your name and email. First name and email, real simple. We're not going to spam you. You're just opting into invites on these, okay? And you'll get an invite a week before, a day before, when we're live, and a replay, okay? So you get 4 emails basically for everyone, so you don't forget, all right? And thanks again for joining in, and until next time, aloha.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Frank.